to EdTech Professional Development, Day 1 of 2. Today we're going to be talking about Wolfram Alpha. My name is John Amos. I'm an English teacher at Vista Real Public Charter High School, and I will be leading us through EdTech Professional Development Days 1 and 2. When I'm not reading a good book, helping out my students, you can often find me in the mountains with my dog. So let's get into what Wolfram Alpha is. So Wolfram Alpha is a unique engine for computing answers and providing knowledge. Sounds a little bit like Google, but it is very different and can serve our students in a very different way as well. To learn a little bit more, let's watch a quick video from the creators of Wolfram Alpha.
Wolfram Alpha is an amazing new tool that's available on the web. It's not a search engine, it's a computational knowledge engine. What does that mean? Well, imagine if you could collect the world's knowledge, things like facts, measurements, equations, history, trends, and calculations, and store them in a big box that's plugged into a brainy supercomputer. That's Wolfram Alpha. It combines knowledge with computational power to give you answers about nearly anything and everything you want to know. When you want to find out about something, such as the nutritional content of your breakfast, Wolfram Alpha is smart enough to understand what you're trying to figure out, and it uses its knowledge to compute the results. Whether you're trying to crack a crossword puzzle, discover scientific facts, or solve an advanced mathematical equation, Wolfram Alpha gives you instant access to expert knowledge whenever you need it. That's Wolfram Alpha in a nutshell. But you might be wondering, how is Wolfram Alpha different from Google? Well, Google searches the web, seeking out web pages that relate to what you typed. From there, for the most part, it's your job to find the information you need. Wolfram Alpha is different. It doesn't search for web pages. Instead, it computes exact answers using its vast and ever-expanding collection of knowledge, and allows you to discover so much more.
All right. So as you can see, Wolfram Alpha is different than Google and can be used for different purposes. Since that video was made, Wolfram Alpha has expanded quite a bit. Let's talk about some ways that educators can use Wolfram Alpha to help our students. Educators can create homework, check answers, generate visuals, and create lesson plans quicker and simpler. Educators can also generate an infinite supply of practice problems with instant feedback and worksheets. Educators can browse by subject or Common Core standard to generate these practice problems. Educators can also create interactive visuals for classes, generate real-world problems and examples using real-world data to engage students. This one is interesting because, as many of us have seen, some of the learning packets that we give to our students are outdated. For example, one of the packets where students have to create a budget uses an outdated website to create a budget, and it does not accommodate for the recent inflation. I have students come up to me and ask me, is this really all it's going to take to live in Southern California? And I say, no, that is not accurate. With Wolfram Alpha, that will be solved without any extra work from us. Students are given the power of self-assessment by providing instant answers, step-by-step solutions, or hints. And we will go through all of these aspects of Wolfram Alpha in detail later. This is just a quick overview. So let's talk about how students can use Wolfram Alpha. So students will benefit from using the step-by-step solutions, including hints to help them along. They'll get an instant automated tutor for their homework. This may be the most important way that our students will be able to benefit from Wolfram Alpha. For example, teachers are only at school between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. And while there is evening tutors, As we know, many of our students are night owls. They like to sleep in all day and they'll do their homework all night. And as an independent learning school, we are all about accommodating our students and removing obstacles that get in their way of achieving their education. This could be a way that students can receive help at any hour of the day. So moving on, Wolfram Alpha generates practice problems to sharpen skills and also gives access to course-optimized web apps. Now the web apps will be one of the features that requires a paid subscription to Wolfram Alpha, but we'll see how much you can get from the free subscription. So let's get right into the website now and get into some examples of how educators and students can use Wolfram Alpha. So as you can see, there's a search bar, so you can search whatever you're thinking about, and it does a really good job of leading you to what you want to find. And what I love about Wolfram Alpha is that it also stimulates you to continue research by offering related subjects and connecting the dots to other parts of the world. So let's start with mathematics. So as you can see, scrolling down mathematics, you can browse by subject, and you can even go to more topics. But let's check out how the step-by-step solutions works for mathematics. So let's say we have a student in algebra. They would be able to plug in their actual equation right into the search bar like that. We'll give it 1 second to load. It's usually faster than this. Let's try a quick refresh. There we go. So, it shows us the input. It shows us how to plot it on a graph. It gives us alternate forms of the input. It shows us where it crosses the number line. It gives you solutions right off the bat too. Now this can be edited by the teacher to not give solutions right away. And instead it can go straight to step-by-step solutions. So we're going to solve for x over the real numbers. Now we can change how to do it, but we're going to use the factor method. So let's go straight to the next step. So before it gives us the next step, it actually shows us a hint. Factor the left-hand side. So the student knows to look at the left-hand side. Shows us how to factor it. Gives us another hint. How to split the equation into 2. Look for the equation. X equals -2. Or x equals -3. And so, as a math teacher, you could see how this could be very helpful for students when there's not a teacher or tutor to help them. Now, let's go back and see how science and technology could benefit. So let's say a student is learning about earth science, and they're doing a project on earthquakes. Look at all this information about earthquakes, beautifully organized, that I was able to get to with 2 clicks. And what's so beautiful about Wolfram Alpha is that it's always updated. A student can look at where recent earthquakes have hit in the world. This is the last 24 hours. It gives you a magnitude of greater than 4, and you can enlarge this. Of course, that's something you need Pro for. So, let's move on and look at how this could help English or history. So let's say a student is learning about the Bronze Age with just a few clicks. Look at all this information. And all these things are links. Gives you a beautiful timeline and even gives you related queries. And as you'll notice, there is contact for expert support. All right, let's keep moving on. So now we're going to break up into subject-specific breakout groups so that we can experiment with some of these uses of Wolfram Alpha. And while you are in your subject-specific breakout groups, I ask you to please focus on these 3 questions so that we can discuss when we come back to the main group. So after experimenting with Wolfram Alpha, how do you think you could use this EdTech to support your students? How could you instruct students to use Wolfram Alpha to answer their questions when a teacher or tutor is not available? How could you use Wolfram Alpha to engage students in a lesson in your subject area? All right, I'm going to break everyone out into groups now, and you'll have 15 minutes to experiment and come up with some ideas. I'm excited to hear what you have. Thank you for the discussion. Now, to wrap up today's EdTech professional development on Wolfram Alpha, we're going to talk quickly about the viability and financial impact of this program. So Wolfram Alpha is easy to integrate into your lesson plan, into your lesson, or as a tool to support students. These would be the main 2 uses that we have for it. So annotating independent learning packets with visuals, step-by-steps, or simply put the link to Wolfram Alpha in the independent learning packet. The web-based search engine can be used on Chromebooks or smartphones. And if we decide to upgrade to the Pro, there are web-based apps that would be very useful as well. Now, adoption of the Pro subscription will depend on the needs specifically of math and science departments, since those are the 2 subjects that would be using most of the Pro features. Now let's talk about the financial impact of the Pro features. So, use of Wolfram Alpha search engine is completely free and available on any web browser, so we could start using it immediately. All we have to do is just start suggesting it to our students, sit down with them one-on-one, show them how to use it, embed it into our learning packets, and get them used to it. The free version is useful to English language arts and social studies departments especially, but math and science can still use it. It's just going to be missing important features. The Pro version may be more useful for the math and science departments, especially for mathematics with the step-by-step instructions. So let's talk about some of the financial impacts. So for a single educator account, it's going to be $60 per year or $100 a year with full tech support. It's the same for each student account, $60 per year or $100 per year with full tech support. Now, that sounds very expensive to roll out on a school-wide basis, but Wolfram Alpha offers site licenses for classrooms or campuses. This could be something that we implement just in math and science, and then the rest of the school just uses the free version. All right, everyone, that wraps it up for day 1. We still have a lot to cover in day 2, but thank you so much for your attention, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts on Wolfram Alpha tomorrow. Have a great day.